So this is the one I wanted to have a bit of a conversation about.
Oh, okay.
This lady, and I say lady because it says Nikki loves cat girls.
Okay.
I think I genuinely enjoy surveillance. All right.
Okay.
Bit of a lengthy one. I'll try to get through it quick.
All right.
I know a fair amount of people nowadays have beef with public surveillance, like security cameras, GPS tracking on their devices, for example. And a lot of them are trying to fight against it because they think it's invading their privacy and, I guess, violating their rights? Question mark.
I guess.
But for some reason, I'm not concerned about it. In fact, surveillance makes me feel a sense of peace and safety inside. Being watched by security cameras to me feels like the person/people behind the lens genuinely care about me. We'll get into that. It's kind of difficult seeing an obvious security camera in a public place and trying to suppress the desire to stare straight into it or wave at it. I do that shit all the time.
I mean, yeah, who doesn't?
The hypothetical thought of there being a tracking device or chip inside one's body would scare the ever-loving hell out of an average person, but to me, it doesn't terrify me in the slightest. I feel comforted instead. Even though I'm pretty sure I definitely shouldn't be. Is there something wrong with me, and what is this type of affinity called? I've tried to search the internet for others who feel a similar way, but so far I've only found people being paranoid about surveillance or people with a fetish for it. Nasty.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of surveillance at all, and this feeling definitely isn't sexual. I don't think anybody said it was. So I don't know what it is. I've not asked for ways to rid myself of this affinity for surveillance. I just want to know what it's called and if there are others who feel like me, because I can't find anyone who shares the same feelings about surveillance, yada, yada, yada. Yada. So thoughts. Just quick thoughts.
They... How do I say this? It sounds like they have a bad case of, like, Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay.
Just from the I feel that they genuinely care about me statement.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
But I get the rationale of, like, it makes me feel safer. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
But going to the extent of, like, no, it's, like, just look up Edward Snowden. That's all I want you to do. Just look up Edward Snowden. What happened with the NSA and him?
Say like, if at any point this person decided that they like to be tracked, they could just always think of the NSA. That's what I was going to say. Because at any point, I'm pretty sure they need a warrant or something to look at your specific information. But
that does not mean they cannot access it.
Yeah.
And are not accessing it.
Yeah, that part.
Legality, most government agencies don't give a fuck about legality.
We'll throw that. I don't exactly know what they're doing on their end there, but that seems like the simplest way they can deal with their obsession.
It could be a fear of, like, being alone, maybe. Or, like, again, I get possibly. The fear. I get the safety feeling of being watched and being surveyed. But let me break something to you. When you're being surveyed, that doesn't mean you're being protected. That means they're going to see what exactly happened to you. A laser's not going to come out of a fucking security camera and nail whoever's trying to grab you or whatever. I hate to put that thought in your head, but like...
it just seems like if at any point in time somebody wanted to know where you are, what you were doing, you already carry around a phone.
Your phone, and if people want to track what you're doing, your bank cards, your ID, your social security number, they will know where you are, especially because you carry, this little supercomputer.
And they straight up triangulate off of cell towers. So yeah, they can get you to a pretty good degree there.
But all that to the side, it's a whole argument of giving up your freedoms or giving up a certain level of privacy in service. I don't want to say service because that sounds like I'm leading you in one direction, but in like for the greater good. The security of you and every other citizen will be better if you give up some of your privacy. Do you think that that is a valid thing? Do you think we should have our privacy? And I think we should have at least some level of privacy, but like, where is that line? You know what I mean?
I think I'd have to somewhat follow, I think the legal definition, I want to say. Not sure how accurate that statement is, but like, if I'm out in public, I don't necessarily care because there's no expectation of privacy.
Yeah.
But if I'm like at home, sure, I wouldn't want to be surveyed. But I mean, if I'm out in public, there's not really anything I can do. There's the expectation that anywhere I go is going to have some sort of surveillance.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. I don't necessarily care. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. If it's there, it's there. It's there to protect either you or whoever's got the cameras, whoever's running the system.
Okay, so basically, you're saying that if this was like, have you ever played Watch Dogs Legion?
I haven't played it, but I know of it. Yes.
Okay, that world where there's drones flying everywhere, every corner there's 5 security cameras or whatever. But in that world, you have your private property, and whatever's on your property, that's yours. That's yours to access. That's not anybody else's. If you want to access this, get a fucking warrant. But outside of your property, you're cool with all the drones and security cameras and Big Brother in a way.
I mean, it's a little dystopian, but I mean, if that's the way society runs, then I guess I really don't have much to say about it.
You would have to see the data.
I mean, I'd imagine if it's public recording and something like that, it should be publicly accessible. But other than that, I mean,
you're saying that anybody should have the ability to go in and see whatever they want?
I mean, like in terms of like public spaces, not like private property of businesses or homes or anything, but like if you're out in the street and there's cameras and you just kind of want to see, I mean, sure, I guess.
You want to have a little look-see?
I mean, there's already YouTube channels that are like specifically like traffic cameras, live streams. And like every now and again, when we know of something wild going down and we know that there's that specific camera is around somewhere, sure.
Yeah.
But like beyond that, it's a little weird. If like anybody could just come look at you, track you throughout your day or something as you're walking along the street. But
yeah, that's concerning. That's really, because even now with the stories of like female streamers getting jumped because men are following them around their IRL stream.
IRL streaming is just dangerous in general. So
yeah, but especially for like female IRL streamers, it's so like maybe the public access, no, just for that reason alone, because there could be some fucking creep, whatever.
Yeah.
But, and to ask this question in a bit of a different way, if you are at a motel, do you think it'd be okay for the owner to have a room where he could just look into every hotel room and say like, well, it's for security reasons?
That's a little much because like in a hotel room, there is an expectation of privacy even between like the people running the hotel and the people staying in the rooms.
Yeah. It's
almost like, hate to bring up Mr. Dr. Disrespect here, but like the bathroom situation, right? It makes me think of that. Yeah. So I don't imagine that will run over very well with me, especially, but like, I can't really think of like a contradicting statement to that. I don't think I'd like that very much.
I'm sure the legality would be like, I gave you money. I'm renting this room. This is now my property for the amount of time I paid you to rent this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, with the caveat that upon it's not my property, I will be responsible for anything that's happened to it.
Yeah. But that's why I don't stay in motels. I've heard way too many scary stories about motels, dude. Every time I see a motel, no.
I would rather stay in like I've heard horror stories about Airbnbs as well, but I would rather stay in one of those or like a hotel before I stay in a motel, to be honest.